hippies are stupid, and they preach like kind of freedom and stuff. Everything you just can't believe, you know. And they're just stupid. They look ugly. They got long hair. They never wash. Well, neither do I, but they're just stupid. They take drugs. Disco's stupid too, because it's not honest. It's just they're made to sell, you know. It's like they're not even real groups.
Punk rock is very much a blood sport. The musicians and followers seem to revel in cutting their arms and legs open with jagged beer bottle glass. In Britain, the fad is to stick safety pins through the cheeks. But it seems that shock's the thing, not pain.
When I cut myself, so when kids see blood and stuff, it makes people feel like violent and aggressive and things. Either that or it's going to scare them off. And it doesn't hurt, you know. I just like doing it. No, the pain doesn't bother me at all, because it's just, you know, can't even feel it. I'm so drunk anyhow when I go on, and you know, people like come up to me sometimes when I'm walking and like want to touch my scars and stuff, and they're like really serious, you know, like they really, you know, like look up to you kind of, you know.
Why do you think they do that?
Because I'm something they're not, right?
Punk rock is just rock and roll played faster and louder and better than it's ever been played before.
Why, you're much more tame than Mr. Nazi Dog and his vile tones. Why don't you do that kind of a... oh, there they are. Can we be serious for a little while? Because I would really like to understand what you are trying to do. What are you trying to do?
I'm just trying to have fun. I'm having fun and I'm making money having fun. And I'd like to create a generation gap. Because there hasn't been one in years. I mean, my parents...
I'm of the same generation, and you've created a gap.
Okay, all right. But, like, I mean, my parents loved Fleetwood Mac, Elton John, Paul McCartney, the Beatles, you know what I mean? I mean, that's accepted for old people. There is nothing now. All right,
You got stabbed.
We're not the Three Stooges, guys.
No, there are four of you.
What inspired me to get into music was probably the... sense that I thought that I could do it in a more powerful way than what was being heard at that time. If you think of that time that we came out, you know, the gods were, you know, like Fleetwood Mac and ABBA, and then you had disco, and it was just, felt diabolical. It felt like it lost its agenda. The punk scene in Toronto was actually more identified, more pure than the one in Manhattan, because the fact is, the so-called punk scene in New York was 2 years previous. What I mean is the Ramones, Blondie, Patti Smith had been established in the mid-'70s. So when I went down to Manhattan in like 77 to play CBGB's and Max's Kansas City and all these places, I was disappointed that they were old. They weren't teenagers, and that was important to be young, where in London, for example, Sid Vicious was an actual teenager. I was 18. The Ramones were in their mid-20s, which is ancient when you're 18. So I didn't really think, outside of maybe the Dead Boys, I didn't think that New York had a particular, and they were from Cleveland, but I didn't think the New York scene was as vibrant as the one in Toronto. Hence, the first time the Ramones played out in New York, it was in Toronto. And it was extremely vibrant. It just like it was so organic, the explosion of it in Toronto with us, and, you know, Teenage Head, the Poles, and then the Curse, the Ugly, the Truth. We were putting out the Truth. I'll tell you a fact. The first time I played at the Colonial Underground Ronnie Hawkins was playing upstairs. That's how long ago it was. And he was complaining that they're too loud down there. And big pandemonium, fight, their bodyguards, all this, that, and the other. The next morning I woke up and I was on the cover, the whole cover of the Globe and Mail fanfare that Paul McGrath did. The whole thing was just this long. So that fed my drive to continue doing it. I thought that this is getting noticed in a big way, you know, and I felt like I was on a mission. I felt like I was on a serious mission, actually.
Those years with Handsome Ned, right here, and every Saturday I'd be here. And he's gone. And I think of Mike Nightmare, and he's gone. And I think of Keith Demick, and he's gone. And I think of Frankie Venom. He's not with us. And I know I'm next. Ooh, there's only a couple first-generation punks left. Can that be true? That's true.